So twin needles. Twin needles are fun. You can do all kinds of things. Whatever you can sew it with a twin needle too. You can do zigzags, you can do all kinds of stuff. You can do free motion quilting, you name it. You do have to slow down quite a bit. This isn't one you want to race to because the hook, the rotary hook has to catch both of those threads. And so I was sewing a little bit and I was playing around with the DX4000, and that's another Juki machine. They have a twin needle setting on the machine. They don't let you do zigzag stitches and things like that, but I know some of the other brands do. I think the Elna does. Pretty sure Bernina does as well. I'm not sure about Brother right off the top of my head, but this is just a straight stitch, so you can really add some cool, like even if you just wanted, yeah, if you wanted to go around the neck of your t-shirt and just add a little bit of, you know, bling. Who doesn't like bling?
So do most machines take a twin needle? Do you take a special machine?
So typically? Most machines will take a twin needle, especially the newer machines. So you'll know if yours does because it usually ships with it. So we never open them. They're in the bottom, very bottom of the sewing case, way down somewhere going, I'll never use anything, you know, and that's the last time you see it.
But the bobbin remains the same.
Bobbin remains the same. Get your manual out. There may be a separate thread path for it, but most of the time there is not. So you just have both threads and they come down. You can't use your needle threader. If you have an automatic threader, you have to thread this manually. But so worth it. I mean, I used 2 colors on this and it's really pretty.
Does each needle get their own thread or one thread through both?
Depends on what you're doing. So you can do one thread through both. And I'm trying to remember which one. I saw a long time ago and haven't really looked at it since. But most commonly, you use 2 threads and 1 bobbin. There's a couple of things about... Let me get all of these. These are all metallic.
Different sizes, yeah.
So they're different sizes. So just like regular needles, they have different sizes. And so whatever thread you're using is what size needle you would use. These are size 80, 80, 80, 80. Also, with twin needles, you get varying distance that the needles are apart. See the difference in the spacing of the needles?
Is that what the second number is on there then?
Yeah, the millimeters. So you can do zigzag stitches and do some really cool stuff. When you're doing zigzag, anything that you're doing with twin needles, keep in mind what size zigzag your machine is. So if you have a 7mm zigzag and you have a 3mm needle in there, you can't do a 7mm zigzag because one of your needles, the first time you sew, is going to hit the edge of your needle plate. So you have to account for the distance that these are. So the max you would be able to do is what, 4mm zigzag. So there's 1 shank and 2 needles.
Yeah.
And so the distance between the 2 needles is what I was talking about. So this is a 3mm needle. And so if you have a 7mm machine, you can only do a 4mm zigzag if you wanted to use a twin needle or stitch or decorative stitch. It's allergy season here. Yeah, it's not bad though. So you just take whatever your zigzag is. So if you have a 9mm machine or a 7mm or 5mm, deduct the needle width. So like this one is 3mm, these are 2mm. Deduct that, and that is the widest zigzag that you can use. Twin needle, if you do your binding, so if you stitch one side and then flip it over and do the top, you could do some decorative stitching with it. it's a lot of fun. You can add a lot of interest to your project by adding some really vibrant colors. These are metallic.
So they would be for metallic thread, right?
Metallic thread. So we have a couple of different sizes in the embroidery. So this is not embroidery machine embroidery. When they talk about embroidery, they're talking about the decorative stitches on your machine.
Really? I
Yep.
didn't realize that.
Yep, so they call that embroidery too. So these are all, I think, size 75. So 75/11, 75, 75, 75, which is the most common size for embroidery. So you can use these with your regular embroidery thread, which is what I did this with. So, and this is embroidery thread. This is Floriani thread. And so just one, just regular embroidery. So we have 2mm and 3mm. This was a 2mm stitch. So you would use this for any of your decorative stitches. Okay, so universal. Definitely with these you could do quilting, and we only have a couple of packs of these. So this is a 6mm. So you have to have at least a 7mm machine. If you have a 5mm machine, these will not work in yours. Okay, stretch. So t-shirts, jersey knits. We have size 75, so 40 weight or less. And we have them in 2.5mm and 4mm.
Those twin ballpoint, that's interesting. What do you use that for?
Want to do some decorative stitching on your pockets, on your jeans? Perfect for that. So ballpoints are you could use it on jersey, knits. This is a size 80, so heavier. You could use this for quilting. So really popular right now is straight line quilting. These would work for that. Twin jeans denim heavy. This is a size 100. So again, you could use these on your denim, put some decorative stitches on your pockets. You can just take that pocket right off and stitch it, do your decorative stitching, and then you have one-of-a-kind jeans, right?
Nice, good idea.
You can also use these for quilting. Triple needles.
Woo, now we're moving up another needle.
We're all moving up one.
One up.
Same thing, same application, pin tucks, all kinds of decorative stitches. We have these in 3mm, and it is a size 80. Size 80.
80 triple needles.
80 triple needles. I want to play with those.